Hi, welcome to The Case for More. On this site, on our YouTube channel, on our socials, we're going to be looking at some of the big questions, and that's really what The Case for More means. We are making the case that there is more than perhaps we've previously been taught in education, perhaps the education we're currently going through. There is more, there is a whole world of classical learning that sadly today gets missed out in modern education. The aim of The Case for More is the three transcendentals: truth, goodness, and beauty. And as we look through various works and ideas, we're going to be mapping onto those transcendentals. Specifically, we're going to be mapping onto truth with the idea of thinking deeply. Thinking deeply should lead us to truth. Thinking deeply should open us up to new ideas and new ways of thinking about the truth, and ultimately leading us perhaps to ultimate truth. With goodness, we're going to be thinking about how we live well. How do we become moral people? How do we become moral citizens? What are some of the ideas from the past? But what's more, what are some of the mistakes from the past that we can learn from? How can we learn from them so that we can avoid them? We can be different. There is a lot to learn from positive history, but there is a lot to learn from negative history as well. Things that we can do so we don't fall into the same mistakes. And finally, the third transcendental is beauty. And with that, we want to look at freedom. To be free is one of the most beautiful things. It's freedom that allows us to create beauty in the world. It's freedom that allows us to create beautiful works of art. It's freedom that allows us to explore the beauty of nature. It's freedom that allows us the time and conversation to know the beauty within other people. If you're going through life and thinking, I think that there might be more, I think there's some bits that I'm missing, that's what we're going to be doing at The Case for More. We're going to be thinking about many of these great ideas that for a long time were a standard part of education, that everybody going to school learnt. They learnt these things, they learnt these ideas, they learnt these great works. They were foundational to the systems we created. Today, sadly, we are having something of a crisis of meaning. And a lot of that stems from, unfortunately, education. That people are learning and have learned a lot of things that are useful, but some that are not so useful. But what is lost in all of that mix is the texts, the ideas, the philosophies, the history that make those of us who live in the UK and more broadly in the West particularly who we are. The ideas that have been foundational, that have stood the test of time, but sadly today seem to be lacking. We're going to be beginning with a series on philosophy, and then we'll be moving into looking at some ethics, some theology, onto history, and eventually into literature, and then we'll see where we go from there. If these sound like things that you are interested in, if you think this might be for you, then like, subscribe, go over to the Case for More website, see what we're doing there. We're going to be starting to put up lots of resources, lots of videos, lots of guides, lots of reading to help us understand more how we can think deeply, how we can live well, and how we can be free.